Guten Tag. It is very nice to welcome you via long distance to your excellent conference on growth in transition. And I'm just wanting to verify that you can hear me and everything is okay. All right. You have quite a challenging topic ahead of you for this meeting. Many people think of growth as only economic growth. I will urge you to think about growth in knowledge as the major objective for the coming century. And we need to be thinking particularly of several types of knowledge. One would be knowledge of biological diversity. Another is knowledge of institutional diversity. And a third is a knowledge of human diversity. Our science has been an effort to get to the simplest possible model that we could. That frequently means that we've tried to ignore the diversity in the world that we were studying. If we don't study the biological and ecological diversity, and then we try to have institutional arrangements that work, and we treat the whole world as if it were just a simple mathematical model with two variables in it at most, then we take the threat that we don't build the kind of institutional diversity we need to match the problems of the ecological systems we deal with. To think about the Great Lakes as a system is an entirely different enterprise than thinking about the Pacific Ocean or to think about a small lake. All of these are water pools, common pool resources, but the scale and behavior of all of them differs rather dramatically. So if we're going to think of the appropriate rules for regulating those and have the knowledge that we need to deal with the ocean, the Great Lakes, and a small pond, we must recognize that what works for a small pond will not work for the Great Lakes or won't work for the ocean. And we've been trying far too much to study simple systems rather than more complex and diverse systems. Further, when you look at the institutional side and you look at institutions that create sustainable systems over time, you find that the specific aspects of those rules differ dramatically from one place to another, period. We don't have simply the government, the market, or community property. These are oversimplistic terms that work for some purposes when we're really talking about some things at a very broad general level. But if we want to understand why some institutional arrangements matched to some ecological systems work well, we've got to dig in and get at a number of attributes, and sometimes we may be up to 10 different attributes that make a difference when you combine the ecological side with the institutional. I think we also now recognize more and more that human diversity is very important, and that if we're going to have effective problem solving, if everyone who sits around the table has an identical background, they don't bring the knowledge and insights that we need for effective problem solving. So I will put on our agenda 3 kinds of diversity and indicate that growth in knowledge needs to be focused on all 3: biological diversity, institutional diversity, and human diversity. And with that, I wish I could be joining you. It's cold here And it would be very nice. I don't know what it's like there, but we've got lots of cold 20-degree weather. And it would be nice if it were spring already. And I hope that you will have an early spring and that everything goes very, very well with your conference.